Meanwhile, up the coast, a couple of states is North Carolina, and that's where the former Secretary of Education under President Reagan and former drug czar under George Herbert Walker Bush and Fox News contributor Dr. Bill Bennett joins us right now. Doctor, every time there's a big storm like this, people all along the coast are reminded about the strength of Mother Nature.
Right, absolutely. Well, semper paratus, as they say in the Coast Guard, always prepared. They're prepared in North Carolina. North Carolinians are like Texans, like South Carolinians. They do for themselves, and they are doing. We can see those preparations taking place. Neighbor talking to neighbor. And, you know, we won't be shocked if it hits here. I think we had 3 hurricanes in a row hit on young Joseph Bennett's pail and shovel on the beach. So it won't be. And we all survived it. But good spirit here, and people are ready.
For sure. Mr. Secretary, we'll have to get your take on the decision yesterday from the White House, ultimately from the Attorney General.
Sure.
They're going to rescind the Daca order and give Congress 6 months to make a decision, because this White House believes, as many do, even Barack Obama before he passed it, that he didn't have the constitutional authority to do that kind of executive action. What do you make of the President's decision and Congress's opportunity going forward?
I think the constitutional issue is clear. You had Professor Turley on. I think he made that clear as well. And I think this is a great opportunity to get things right on the whole immigration issue. Look, this is a largely sympathetic group of people. And one of the reasons it's sympathetic is that nothing's been said to them about the enforcement of the law and the Constitution. And so they've been allowed to stay. But once you have that situation, you have to deal with it. And I think the President can deal with it, the Congress can deal with it, by using it as an occasion to get the things done which we really need to get done on immigration. Right. The wall is part of it, yes, but also E-Verify, universal E-Verify of employees, and then limits on legal immigration. You know, you have this situation where people come, they're granted amnesty, and then they bring in all the relatives. So if the President uses this opportunity for working with the Democrats to say, you're very sympathetic, you're all worried about these people. Yeah. Fine. I'm worried about them too. I care about them too. But let's use this occasion to get things right.
But you know what? Emotions are always more popular. That's what Governor Huckabee said on the couch just a few moments ago. And that's what we're hearing from a lot of, liberals and commentators, calling Trump, racist. He's a hater. He's got no compassion for the folks that are in this country, the 800,000 dreamers, to which, if you've heard him talk about it, even yesterday, he says, I have a huge heart for them. And he's not saying, let's throw them out of this country. He's saying, let's focus on the law first. How do we balance that? As we talk about this as a nation, how do we balance that appropriately, the emotions and the law?
Well, you do it, I think, Abby, by making a deal. And this is the great deal maker, the deal maker par excellence. And the deal is, okay, we'll consider legal amnesty, path to citizenship, but we want these other things in place as well so we can finally fix this problem. Yeah, a lot of emotion. By the way, a lot of the sympathy, the Democrats don't own a monopoly on the sympathy. I heard Lindsey Graham, I heard Carlos Cabello earlier on your show. Everybody who looks at this says, my gosh, you got a situation where one kid came with his parents illegally, and then they came here and they had another child. The second child can stay, the first child has to go back. That just seems crazy. And so people want to fix this, and they are right to want to fix it. Their heart's in the right place. Let's get the head in the right place as well. In terms of the anti-Trump stuff, that ain't going to stop. No matter what he does or says, this, this vicious anti-Trump stuff that's out there will continue. They'll use any opportunity.
The President's also shown, sorry, Steve, has shown empathy for the forgotten man, for the citizen who isn't emphasized, for that person without a job or the veteran waiting at the VA. There's heart for those people, too, and I think that's part of his expression here.
You bet it is. And I noticed you played a clip earlier of the Princeton professor, African-American studies professor, talking about this as racism. Well, what about the displaced jobs? What about the lost job opportunities for black Americans in this country because of all the illegals? We all know we have to solve this problem, and you can do this and use this as an opportunity. You didn't have the opportunity with Obama because he just let things slide and said, the heck with the Constitution, I'll just sign these executive orders. Now the President has said, let's have the legislation that we we need to fix the problem and address all the parties who are involved. And of course, you got to think first and foremost about the American citizens. I love the line Jeff Sessions used yesterday. He said the Department of Justice and the operation of justice is not about any particular group, this group or that group. It's about the law. It's about all Americans, and that's what you're talking about, Pete.
Well, Bill, you were talking a moment ago about all this anti-Trump stuff. I want you to listen to a soundbite from the mayor of the third biggest city in America.
Yeah.
It's Rahm Emanuel in Chicago talking about President Trump. Watch.
Chicago, our schools, our neighborhoods, our city, as it relates to what President Trump said, will be a Trump-free zone. You have nothing to worry about.
He's just doubling down on how Chicago is a sanctuary city and the Dreamers are safe there.
Sanctuary from what, exactly? I love that line. You have nothing to worry about here. When you get out of O'Hare Airport, they ought to give you a warning. If you're about to enter one of the most dangerous cities in the world, what do you mean you have nothing to worry about? You have plenty to worry about. Why don't you fix your problems, Mayor? Donald Trump is not your problem. This is what in philosophy we call the argument ad absurdum. You argue so extremely, you get to absurdity. And the absurdity here is that Donald Trump is the problem for Chicago. Get out in the streets on the weekend and you'll see what the problem is. It ain't Donald Trump.
Yeah, that's what I always wonder with these local officials like Rahm Emanuel. How are your priorities so out of line when you are there on the ground? You see what's going on those streets, and yet you make these comments.
Yeah, like drugs from Mexico infecting and fueling these gangs, yet you don't want to secure your border.
That's right.
It's unreal.
That's right. No, and that's a huge issue. What he's really doing here is taking the posture of nullification. You know, before secession from the Union, the word was nullification. They said, let's nullify all these federal laws that apply. So Rahm Emanuel, I don't know if they'll make a statue of him, but we need to take it down if they do, because he's in favor of nullification and secession. Good Lord. I hope nobody picks up on that idea.
Well, we don't know whether or not he wants a statue, but Bill de Blasio does want a parade, but that's another story. Bill, thank you very much. We've covered a lot of territory today.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Stay safe over there,
Bill. As always. Thank you, guys. Thanks very much.
Phil.
Sarah, you're talking about a comprehensive immigration fix from Congress in a span of 6 months, and much to the president's frustration, Congress hasn't been able to really do much at all this year. What gives him confidence that they're going to be able to act on immigration? Has he spoken to any congressional leaders since making this Daca decision?
He's spoken to a number of leaders, but hopefully, as you guys all know, they just came back from a 3-week vacation. I think that they should be rested and ready to take on some big challenges that America faces.
Why put the fate of the lives of 800,000
because it's Congress's job to legislate. It's not the president's job to create law. It's not. It's Congress's job to create legislation. I think that's something we all learned in 8th grade civics. I know I certainly did, and I think that every member of Congress should know that that is their duty, and we're asking them to fulfill it. It's pretty simple. I think that the American people elected them to do it. And again, if they can't, then they should get out of the way and let somebody else take their job that can actually get something done. Kristen.
The president vowed to treat Dreamers with, quote, great heart. How is this move treating them with great heart?
I think by allowing an orderly process to take place. You know, there's a lot of people that I've seen attacking the president for not showing the level of compassion that they feel like he should. To me, the most heartless thing that I've seen all day today is that Democrats like Nancy Pelosi are using this decision today for fundraising while the president's trying to fix this situation. They are politicizing an issue instead of actually doing their job. If they would spend less time fundraising and more time focusing on solutions, we wouldn't even be in this problem in the first place.
On the president's decision, where all of this stems from, Dreamers, supporters of Dreamers say this is cold-hearted. You're leaving the future of 800,000 people uncertain, up in the air. What's your message to them?
It's not cold-hearted for the president to uphold the law. We are a nation of law and order. And the day that we start to ignore the fact that we are that, then we throw away everything that gives these people a reason to want to come to our country. If we stop becoming the country that we were envisioned to be, then we throw away what makes us special, which makes America unique. This president's not willing to do that. The previous administration was. This one is.